he's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real. Stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Like I said, I don't know this guy. I never seen this guy fight.
Most exciting for us here on this program is the fact that the star of the weekend, the man who stole the show, the man who not only put on a masterclass against Canelo Alvarez and put an exclamation point on his resume, in some ways validated everything that he had been saying to all the detractors, all the doubters over the past 10 plus years, that he is the man, that he could be the face, that he is as good as he says and thinks he is. And that, of course, is the brand new undisputed super middleweight champion, the pride of Omaha, the one and only Terence Bud Crawford, who is kind enough to join us on this Monday afternoon. Terence, my man, congratulations. Incredible stuff. Really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
So what is it like? Can I ask? You just had a moment. We don't know the exact numbers, but we know for sure tens of millions of people were watching on Saturday night. You made history. Three-weight undisputed champion, the first male to ever do it, the second after Clarissa Shields, of course. You beat a guy who was fighting, some say, 3 weight classes above you, and you did it in virtuoso masterclass fashion. I never thought you would top the Errol Spence fight, and you did. 48 hours later, what does it all feel like?
I feel great. I'm just sitting back, enjoying my victory and just having my downtime to relax and just sit back and decompress.
Is it hard to decompress? I'm assuming you were on an all-time high on Saturday. Is it hard to come down? Like, did you even go to sleep on Saturday night?
To be honest, I went to sleep like at 6 o'clock in the morning and woke up like at 8 because everybody kept hitting me up and, coming to my room and things like that. But, everything else was cool.
Would you say that was the greatest moment of your career on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. It definitely was one of the greatest moments of my career. One of them for sure. Definitely.
One of them, but does it, take the cake? Does it top them all?
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, because like I keep saying, becoming a world champion was so special to me. That moment, I don't know. This moment was huge, but it's something about that first one that, feeling that, this little poor kid from Omaha, Nebraska, set his sights out to be a world champion and had to travel all across, the world to go become world champion. In one night, all his dreams came true. So, those two moments, was definitely special in my career.
What about that sentiment that I was just talking about, the validation? Because it was well documented. When you left Top Rank, there were things said. You were not getting the fights that you wanted. You weren't getting promoted the way in which you thought you should be promoted. Did you feel like Saturday was validation, was the opportunity to prove everyone wrong and to prove yourself right? And do you think you successfully did that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in all areas, you know, to be a fighter that they say can't sell or they lose money on and they say don't have no personality and they try to hurt your career by saying these things, it definitely was a great feeling to see the turnout, and see all the supporters for both fighters and, the history making, numbers. For sure, it definitely was a great feeling.
Did you use that sentiment as fuel in the build up to the fight? I'm going to show these guys, I'm going to prove them wrong once and for all. Do you think about that sort of thing?
No, it wasn't a sense of me not knowing that, I could sell because look at all the fights that I done fought since, being with Top Rank. It was a sense of me proving everybody wrong that think that I couldn't win. They was trying to put this narrative out in the air that it's not possible, that it can't be done. Nobody's never done it before. The bigger man always beat the smaller man. So, I remember telling Max, I said, who came up with that? In my eyes, the smaller man always win.
Oh, he was cooking right there. We'll get him in a second here. Did we lose him? Okay. Looks like the internet paused on us as he was cooking right there, because there was this thought, this prevailing thought that the smaller man always loses to the bigger man. This was repeated time and again throughout the fight week. And he proved that that's not the case. Again, I hope you all recognize this was a 168-pounder fighting a 147-pounder. He had one fight at 154 last August, was the undisputed king at 147, beating Errol Spence in July of 2023, came back the following year, fought Israel Madrimov at the soccer stadium in Los Angeles, and then did everything he could to get this fight, played his cards the right way, and there he was, standing face-to-face against Canelo Alvarez, who did seem for the longest time like he didn't want to take this fight, and because there was great risk involved, because not only is Terence Crawford one of the all-time best fighters in the history of the sport, he's smaller than him, so a lot of people would be like, oh, of course you're going to beat the smaller guy, right? But I think Canelo recognized, yeah, he might be smaller, but he's that damn good. Like I said, switch hitter, boxing IQ, higher than most, if not anyone in the game. Canelo 100% understood the risk. But there was so much attached to this, and there's still so much attached to Canelo. I don't subscribe to the theory that Canelo Alvarez is shot, is done, is and never was. And quite honestly, Canelo, not a never was, shot, done. Of course he was. But quite honestly, Canelo can now go out and do whatever he wants because he's not tied to the belts. Let's go back to Terence. There he is. You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
You were cooking there for a second about the thought of the smaller guys not being able to beat the bigger guys, and then we lost you.
Yeah, I was just, referring to when I had a conversation with Mac earlier this week. I said, who came up with that? He said, I don't know. I said, right. I said, everybody just listening to everybody. They just copy and pasting. And they just running with this narrative that the great big man always beat the great little man. I'm like, can we look at history when we look at all these great fighters that moved up in weight, and it was smaller guys that went into bigger divisions and beat the bigger guy, So, I just think that people just hear things and they just run with it and they don't do their research.
Can I ask, how much do you think, or maybe you know the answer to this, how much did you weigh on Saturday night?
I don't know. I didn't even weigh myself.
Okay. What do you think you weighed?
Probably like 175.
And what do you think he was?
I don't know.
How did your body, obviously you fought brilliantly, but did you feel okay with the extra weight?
Of course. I felt great. I felt strong. I felt, fast. I felt like I was in a lower weight class like I normally do.
You now have opportunities, massive choices to conquer at 168, at 160, at 154. Hell, if you want to go back to 47, you have great choices there. Where do you think you'll stay? Now you're the undisputed champion. Doesn't mean you have to stay at 168. Where do you think you'll stay?
I don't know. Like I said before, I'm going to talk with my team, family, and then we're going to make that decision, and then we're going to come back to you.
Yeah, you were asked in the post-fight press conference, or not the press conference in the ring, which kind of surprised me because the thought didn't even cross my mind, if this was possibly the final fight of your career. And to me, I know you just conquered a great mountain, but you're so freaking hot and so good right now. Why would you walk away now? Can you say definitively that you will fight again?
I don't know.
Really? It's still up in the air?
Still up in the air.
Wow, there is a chance that was your final fight.
Could be.
Are you just playing coy with us right now?
I'm just saying it could be. It may not be. I don't want to say that it is, and if and it ain't, I want to say it ain't that it is.
See, you get a lot of respect and love for being a great boxer, great IQ. I don't know if you get the respect that you deserve for being a great businessman, because this is Terrence the businessman talking, right? They got to pay the cheddar to make it better, right?
For sure, for sure. All money ain't good money, so you got to know that.
Okay, fair enough. I hate to use the word easy, but at times it did feel like you were, having a really easy time out there. Were you expecting it to play out that way?
Listen, it's never easy. Boxing is hard. We train so hard, and for this fight, we actually been training for some years. Preparing ourselves for Canelo Alvarez. You know, it's never easy. It's never easy.
How about just the way it played out? Was that sort of how you were expecting?
Um, in a way, yeah. We train for we train how we fight. And training was real hard. I had some real tough sparring, and everything that we put into preparation came out, you know, for that one night.
Did you happen to see that clip in slow mo of you hitting him and him making that face like, damn, man, I don't know if I have any answers for this anymore? You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I know. Sometimes he was frustrated in there. He was basically like, damn, like how I get hit with that shot.
Yes.
Sometimes, us fighters we get frustrated, and he was frustrated. He couldn't figure me out.
When did you start to feel like you had figured him out?
Uh, early in the early rounds.
Because it's often said you take a few rounds to just kind of dissect and download the information, but I felt off the jump you had his number.
Yeah, for sure. I just think that like I said, our preparation, me and my team preparation led us to where we was at this Saturday. Knowing what Canelo likes to do, what he don't like, and the things that works on him.
Oh no. We're fighting through it. Like working through a Terence Crawford attack here. Do we get in like 4-minute spurts? It's like going 3 rounds with him. And then you need a minute to dissect it all, to digest it all. And then you have to go back out there. That clip of him nailing Canelo with the shot and then Canelo making that face, like, what the hell? How am I supposed to react to this? Oh, he's back. He's back.
Yeah.
Okay. I was saying this is like fighting you. Like you have to fight through the elements, for 3 minutes and then take a minute to digest it all. He said afterwards, you are better than Floyd Mayweather, and I know you don't like those comparisons. I know you don't like when people pitch you two together. But when you heard that, what did you think? How did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know. I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer. You still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you, Terrence, one thing that I love about you, you always have the same guys around you. And I wanted to ask you about Wayne Sullivan, because I love this dude showing up with the Nebraska hat and the suspenders and the bow tie. The guy who's always by your side with the belts, of course. Who is Wayne, and what is his connection to you?
That's my little brother. That's one of my best friends. That's my bro. I don't get thicker than that. He's always by my side. I'm always by his side. And, he gonna be at every fight with them suspenders on, repping Nebraska like he always do.
When did you meet him?
Oh, we met as, teenagers. It's funny how we met. We was in the church playing basketball. It was actually about to fight. We was gonna fight in the church, and then we just both sit down there and looked at each other and we just started laughing. And I was like, man, you're a cool dude. You know what I mean? He was like, yeah, man. And I was just like, man, we just got close. And, once we started kicking it, it was just like we knew each other for years. And, we was with each other every day. From fishing, the dirt bike ride, the four-wheeler, it didn't matter what it was. He was always, by my side. I was always by his side.
I love that he's always there as a part of the entourage. I'll ask you one more thing and then let you go. One more topic. Obviously, we're paying close attention to you and Ilia Topuria, the back and forth, the tweets, and then you walk out to the song that he usually walks out to. You were asked about it. He then responded yesterday via Twitter to you walking out to the song that he usually walks out to. And I know that you were asked about this, but this was his response. First, he calls me drunk. Then he walks out to my song. Crawford, whenever you want, I'll teach you how to dance the mariachi in the ring, and Canelo, I'll save you a round after him. Honestly, you walking out to his song, did you not know that was the song he always walks out to?
To be honest, I never even seen this dude fight. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not worried about that guy at all. It's crazy how, things work, I didn't even know who he was. When he seen me at the UFC, he came up and shook my hand saying, what's up to me? I didn't even know who he was, but then I see him online talking about he had knocked me out in the first round and this and that and this. Well, if you want to fight me, you had the opportunity to tell me like, hey man, I want to fight you. What's up? Like, that's fake. If I don't like somebody, if I want to fight them for whatever reason, I would have been like, hey, what's up, man? What you think about me and you fighting? I'm not going to go hide behind, the keyboard and things like that. And then you're like, oh, I knocked this dude out, this and that and this. I think that's fake.
Do you think he actually wants to fight you, or do you think, as the kids would say, he's just trying to clout chase?
I definitely think he's trying to clout chase. I think he'll definitely get in the ring with me for the right check. That's what we all do it for. But at the same time, I think, he's I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I don't know what he thinking this way. I will. Ain't even nothing to talk about.
Do you, now that this has become a thing and you see the interest, do you have interest in fighting him?
For what? What?
Money.
Listen, what money would I get out of fighting him? Tell me how much I'm gonna get out of fighting him.
Well, I know Floyd made a lot, obviously, to fight Conor.
He's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real. Stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Conor was here. He's here. Like I said, I don't know this guy. I never seen this guy fight. And I watch a lot of MMA, you know what I mean? Maybe, I'm slipping. Maybe he's a good fighter, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I honestly never seen this guy fight, for sure. And I've seen Conor McGregor fight a lot of times. Just saying.
Okay.
Him and Conor, like, it's night and day. It's night and day.
So you'd say that
it's night and day. Don't ever try to say they on the same level.
I'm just saying right now, you can make the case that he is one of the biggest stars in the UFC.
Okay, so how much we gonna make? How much we make? Tell me how much we make. How much you make? Am I gonna make more with him than I made with Canelo?
Probably not.
Am I gonna make close?
Probably not. But if we're talking about like a Bivol or someone,
what are we talking about? We ain't talking about.
I think you'd make more than like if you fought a Bivol or someone like that.
We're not talking about that.
I'm just saying compared to people not named Canelo.
Listen, tell that guy to, keep up the good work in his career. I wish him the best.
Fair enough. When do you think you'll know if you'll fight again?
I don't know. I'm just chilling, relaxing, enjoying my hard work pay off.
Did you see the Nebraska tweet? They changed it to your face.
No, I didn't.
This is the Nebraska Huskers Twitter page, and that's you.
Yeah, yeah, it's my team.
Yeah,
that's what, I rep Nebraska every fight that I ever had. I rep Omaha, Nebraska. As a city, as a state, as a whole. And it's great to show that they, supporting and repping me. The same.
Yeah, the homecoming is going to be fantastic. Congratulations, Terence. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And what a joy it was to see you do your thing on Saturday and to see you make history once again.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, much love, my man. There he is, Terence Bud Crawford, the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, just defeated Canelo Alvarez. If you haven't watched it, go on your Netflix right now and watch it, because it's an unbelievable performance. It's one of the all-time great performances that we've ever seen. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.